Good evening. The next episode of Knowledge is Money is going to be on the first nickel made in the United States, the Shield nickel, which I'll show you an example of what one looks like here. Not in the greatest of shape. I don't have a really great one to show you. The way that this started was the Act of 1866. Before this, and even for a little while after they started making these, they used half dimes, which was 5 cents, just like a nickel, but it was half the size of a dime, and it was made out of silver. And there were many things that led to making the nickel. One was probably cost. They did say the silver prices were starting to get a little bit, iffy. Also, some people just wanted change, so they figured this would be a way you could change stuff. And also, hoarding during the Civil War of basically anything from copper to silver to gold really changed the market a lot. So that's really why the nickel was designed the way it is. Alright, the design of the Shield nickel. The obverse of the coin had a shield with some leaves and it says United States of America, or In God We Trust on the top of it, and the date is down here at the bottom. It's very similar to the 2-cent coin, which you would have seen in a previous episode. And the reverse of the coin has 13 stars around it. It says United States of America at the top and says cents at the bottom. And there were two varieties of the reverse, which I have a variety one, but it's not in great shape, so I'm not going to go dig it out to try to show it to you because it's really going to be hard to pick up on camera. So I'm just going to show you I'll do a little freestyling again here, and I will show you out of a book the difference. See, here is the reverse of the Type 1, which has rays in between the stars, and then the Type 2 does not have rays in between the stars. The obverse is the same. So that's one of the major differences right there, was the rays. They added rays to it. Okay, the designer was James B. Longacre, and we're not going to really give you a ton of detail here because we did for the Flying Eagle one, but he was appointed the director of the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint after Kirsten Gobrecht had passed away, and he was succeeded by William Barber when he passed away in 1869, and he was notable for designing a lot of the smaller coinage, the cents, 2 cent, 3 cent, shield nickels, things like that. If you want a full detail, you can go back to the Flying Eagle video and it will show you all you need to know about Longacre. Alright, now we have the specifications. They originally wanted the weight of this to be 77 and 16/100th grains, which ends up being 5 grams, which is the exact same weight as the 3-cent nickel, which was in a previous episode. They are 75% copper, 25% nickel. They have a plain edge, and they're 20.5 millimeters in diameter, which is the common size of today's nickels. Alright, mint marks. There are no mint marks on these because, again, back in this time, they did not produce non-silver coins outside of the Philadelphia Mint, so they all would have been made in Philadelphia, and that was the main mint at the time. So they were all made in Philadelphia. They didn't put a mint mark on them, so there is no mint mark on the Shield nickels. Alright, now we'll get into mintages. The 66 was the only year that they had the raise on the back of the coin that you saw at the beginning of the video for the entire year. And they made about 14.5 to 15 million. I think it was 14.7 million. Then in 1867 they made about 2 million of them with the raise, and then they made almost 29 million of them without the raise. So like this one right here is a 67 without the raise. So this one is very, very common because they made almost 30 million of them. They made just under 29 million. The same thing for the 68s and the 69s and the 70s were all fairly high. They were in the millions. The two key dates of the regular series is the 1871 was 561,000, and the closed 1873 version was only 436,000. And then the stoppers of the series are at the bottom of the list of them. Is the last 2 years they were produced, the last few years that they were produced. The 1879, the 1880, and the 1881 were very, very low mintages. They were only in the under 100,000s. They were 25, 16, and 68,000 respectively. And then in 1882 and 1883, they boosted the production way up again. They went back to there was over 1 million in 83, almost 12 million in 82, because they started to get shortages of them. And those are really common. And the other ones to look out would be proofs. The proofs are very... there was a couple of years, I believe it was the 1877 and 1878, they only made proofs. Alright, now key dates to the series. As we mentioned in the mintage part, you're going to want to pick up a 1879, 1880, and 1881. Those are going to be the three really big circulated priced ones. And also the 1871 has a pretty big price because they only made 500 and so thousand of them. The proofs also, there was a couple years where they only made proofs, like the 1877, 1878, as I said, they only made proofs. And those ones you really want to look out for. And of course you want to get a 66 or a 67, 1866 or 1867 that has rays, because those are that was a short-lived type. And there are a few other ones too, like there's a 66 repunch date. There is in 73 they made an open 3 and a closed 3. There's a rare variety that's called a large over small 3. There's also a 1879 9 over 8, and there's a 1883 3 over 2. So those are some that you can look for and see if you can get one, see if you find a graded one somewhere at a show or something. But those are big ticket ones that you'll notice.